Let's kick it off with Albo's energy standoff. Opposition leader Peter Dutton did not hold back today. Have a listen.
I think it shows a lot of insight into this government and the panic that they are experiencing at the moment. You've got somebody like Chris Bowen, who was the worst minister in the Rudd-Gillard years. He was the architect of Fuel Watch and Grocery Watch and many other disasters during his time as minister. He's the one who is putting together this crazy plan. And you've got a Prime Minister who is like a deer in the headlights, doesn't know which way to turn, and Australian families are the ones who are suffering.
James, this is the Peter Dutton Australia needs. He's the Peter Dutton that I've grown to know and like for a very long time. We're finally seeing him unleashed because Albo's given you a free kick. This energy legislation is a complete mess, isn't it?
Oh, it's a vomited up dog's breakfast. It is the worst policy failure that we've seen from any government for decades. What they're going to do is actually increase electricity prices over the coming years. And Peter Dutton is right on the money. David Littleproud is right on the money. I cannot believe that Labor are bringing us back to Parliament to vote on this legislation. We're going to vote against it. We're going to proudly vote against it because we're for lowering power bills and for ensuring reliability. And Labor are just a bunch of dot points massacring around as energy policy, which is going to hurt Australians. It is a disgrace.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Keith, the challenge is going to be, at the end of the day, all Australians are going to suffer from this terrible policy. But there's a concern in some ranks that Labor will somehow spin their way out of it. You know, we're saving you money that you're never really going to pay anyway. It's going to be a case that the coalition is going to have to really prosecute very hard. How do you see it playing out?
I'll guarantee you that electricity prices are going up no matter what Labor are doing. It's in their own budget, up by 56%. It was only a couple of weeks ago. The cash splash was terrible for the economy, bad for inflation, and now it's a great thing, apparently. But we've seen the climate sheriff, Chris Bowen, his sidekick Adam Bant, they want to destroy the resources sector, a sector that puts $450 billion into the Australian economy, pays some $40 billion in royalties and taxes, and they want them gone, and they will be successful. It's gas's turn this time. Coal's being capped. The best thing you can do for power prices, stop Anastasia Palaszczuk from profiteering from it and make sure that Victoria actually develops their own gas resource. And they are the two best things that could happen on the East Coast market.
Yeah, here. And the other problem we've got with this government, it doesn't seem to ever learn from what happens overseas. I mean, Jim Chalmers has learned nothing from Joe Biden's ESG agenda, which has just corrupted the whole markets over there. And now he's trying to force Australia's largest companies to mandate a climate risk disclosure report. Yes, people, you heard that right. Mandating a climate risk disclosure report from our largest companies. James, I can't describe it as anything else except absolute lunacy.
It's complete bollocks. Look, if companies want to do these things, let them do it. Companies are all about creating jobs, about making money. If companies want to do this, well, they should have the freedom to do it. The big hand of big government in big old Canberra should not be coming down the hallway and bossing companies and bossing Australians around like this. It is pointless, it's useless, it's going to waste time, it's going to waste money, and it'll actually achieve nothing.
That's exactly right. Keith, do you have any idea how you think this is actually going to help our economy? We're already struggling with a lack of electricity and too much wokeness rather than industry and the stuff that's going to help us prosper. What's your take on this mandated ESG climate change report from companies?
You'll see a deal with the Greens before the end of the week. It'll be around this, it'll be around methane, it'll be about making people remove their gas stove and gas hot water system at some exorbitant expense because that's what their ideology says. So I think they'll do a deal. It'll be all over Thursday so they can get this legislation through, which is disastrous for Australia's economy. It really is. So they're trying to renationalise the gas network, cap prices, but not all prices, not in the Victorian market, not in the Sydney market, not the Brisbane market, but only for the big exporters out of Gladstone. And now we see that no matter what companies do, it's not good enough unless it's closing their business. It's not good enough for the Greens and Labor.